Hi, I'm Shane Magee. Welcome to another edition of The Big Picture. This week, Laura Brown brings us a story about Small Business Week in Canada. And Starlet Simon tells us about a special inductee to the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. But first, students drinking at university isn't a new issue. But this year, the University of New Brunswick is spending more money on counseling services. Jennifer Bishop brings us this report.
Drinking is a social affair. Some people have one drink, and some people have one too many. Counseling services at the University of New Brunswick have $6,000 extra this year. The money came from the university's budget to put towards drinking prevention and awareness. Bryce Fuller is the Director of Counseling Services at UNB.
I think there's an idea out there that we don't deal with alcohol or substance use problems, but we do. We may at times want to call in some extra help, but I think we're the best first stop, and in many cases we may be the only stop that somebody needs to help with an alcohol problem.
Only 1% of students use counseling services to help with alcohol-related issues. Fuller said those students with more serious issues are referred to Fredericton Addiction Services. 50% of university students in Atlantic Canada have a harmful or hazardous drinking pattern, according to a 2004 study by the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health. That's 5 or more drinks at a time. UNB Student Union President Jordan Thompson said he doesn't think UNB has a more serious drinking problem than any other university, but he said there are students who have a problem.
It's fantastic to see counseling services put money into addressing this issue. I believe it was $6,000 in their budget to address substance abuse, which includes alcohol abuse, which is fantastic to see counseling services take this seriously and be proactive before any major problems happen.
The money will be used to train counseling staff on recognizing and treating alcohol issues involving students. They also plan to fund an awareness campaign telling students what is a safe amount to drink and what isn't. For Stu Journalism, I'm Jennifer Bishop.
It's Small Business Week in Canada. Today, we bring you the story of one family who runs a restaurant in Fredericton who say, despite the challenges, they wouldn't have it any other way. Laura Brown has the story.
Making a Belgian mocha is like starting a business. You have to take it slow. But Catherine and Roel Louange say the result is worth it.
If you keep nurturing it and keep feeding it and keep whatever, the business will grow.
It's Small Business Week in Canada, and Sweet Belgian Desires is one of over 4,500 businesses in New Brunswick. Small businesses make up a third of the country's GDP and employs 48% of Canadians. Sweet Belgian Desires has been open for 2 years, but this isn't the first for the Louange family. They immigrated from Belgium 7 years ago and say the challenges of business owning are the same in a big city or a small one.
You may have 30 million people. It doesn't mean the first year that they will all run to your business and place orders. It really takes time. You need to get known. You need to spread the word.
The confidence of business owners in New Brunswick has had its ups and downs. According to the Canadian Federation for Independent Business, half of owners say business is satisfactory. But there are some challenges that grow every year. We spoke with Richard Dunn, a policy analyst with the Canadian Federation for Independent Businesses, who said New Brunswick business owners were finding it hard to keep up with rising wage and fuel costs. 76% of business owners felt that rising fuel costs were a major concern of theirs. This is up 21% from last year. Minimum wage went up by $1 this year and will be $10 by April. This has led some business owners to cut back on full-time employees. But despite these challenges, running a family business and serving their homemade dishes makes it all worth it. For Stu Journalism, I'm Laura Brown.
For the first time in 28 years, the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame saw a First Nations inductee. Starlet Simon brings us that story.
This is a song I wrote in Boston between stop signs. I just want to tell you.
Vince Barlow, also known as the Singing Indian, has been performing for over 40 years across North America. This year, the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame made Vince its first Aboriginal inductee since its founding in 1983. Vince's music career took off in 1974 after playing a benefit concert in Massachusetts for brain-injured children. He was asked to open for Stonewall Jackson.
And I opened for Stonewall Jackson 2 shows, one in the afternoon, one at night. And boom, and then the owner of Lone Star Ranch, he says, what are you doing? I said, no, I'm not booked anywhere. He said, you know, I'm just new around here. He says, well, next Sunday, come on up. And since that landed me 9 years of opening for all the stars that come up there. That's Kitty Wells. And look how plump I am. That's Johnny Wright and Bobby Wright. There's the queen of country music, Loretta Lynn.
Mavis O'Donnell, who's on the selection committee for the Hall of Fame, indicated that many people get nominated but aren't selected for induction for several years. For Vince Barlow, it was a different story.
There's quite a few people that you have to consider and study their bios, and you have to consider all of them. But this particular nominee was voted the very first year that he was nominated. So that's a feather in his cap.
Recalling the phone call that revealed the good news, Vince said he felt honored but remained humble and hoped to be an inspiration to other Aboriginal musicians. The Hall of Fame has seen over 100 inductees that are dead and alive. The requirements are not specific to musicians, but also include agents, columnists, radio and TV personalities, and promoters who've worked in the genre of country. Vince's love for country music started at a young age, but the local radio station only played country for 1 hour a day. Vince recalls staying up late at night when his mom's battery-operated radio would suddenly tune in to the West Virginia country station. Some of the artists he most looked up to have been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
And the first live show I ever saw was the Bunkhouse Boys. And I saw that, my brother-in-law and my sister took me to Rexton Lions Club. They were playing there at the time. I was just a little kid, I remember. And little do you know, they're in the Hall of Fame, that I'm going to be joining them in the Hall of Fame, those very same people. And I saw them in Rexton. And then that was kind of inspiring. Don Messer is another guy I used to watch on television. He was a fiddle player and very, very gifted musician.
Aubrey Hanson, the founder of the Hall of Fame, created it to forever honor all of those who have kept country music alive.
For Stu Journalism, I'm Starlet Simon.
Thanks for watching The Big Picture. Have a good weekend, and join us again next time.